June Park stood motionless in the vast research chamber, his eyes fixed on the shimmering data crystal that seemed to pulse with an ancient energy. The planetary research station floated silently above a distant moon, its metallic walls reflecting the soft blue glow of holographic displays. The crystal was unlike anything the research team had encountered in their decades of exploring abandoned human archives. It was small, no larger than a human thumb, but it radiated in complexity that suggested something extraordinary lay hidden within its quantum encrypted core. Around him, the research team worked in hushed silence. Hannah Kim, the team's lead xenoarchaeologist, carefully adjusted the scanning equipment. Her fingers moved with precision, each movement calculated and deliberate. She had spent her entire career searching for concrete evidence of humanity's final days, and this crystal might be the breakthrough she had always hoped to find. The station's AI system began processing the data, translating fragments of ancient code that had remained dormant for 40,000 years. Fragments of images started to appear, glimpses of a world long gone. Destroyed cities. Massive technological structures. Landscapes that seemed both familiar and completely alien. "Something's different about this one," June muttered, more to himself than to his colleagues. His research team had analyzed thousands of human artifacts, but this crystal felt different. It carried a weight, an intention that seemed to transcend mere historical documentation. The first complete image resolved itself on the main holographic display. It showed a massive spacecraft, but not like anything in current galactic records. This vessel was designed with a complexity that suggested multiple dimensional capabilities. Its structure seemed to bend and shift even in the static image, hinting at technologies far beyond current understanding. Hannah approached the display, her breath catching in her throat. "These are not just historical records," she whispered. "These are instructions." The AI system began translating more data. Mathematical equations that seemed to describe complex quantum mechanics appeared alongside architectural designs for technologies that defied current scientific understanding. Energy systems that could potentially manipulate fundamental universal constants. Defensive mechanisms that could protect entire planetary systems. June realized they were looking at something more than just historical documentation. This was a legacy. A preparation. A message left behind by a civilization that knew its own destruction was imminent but was determined to leave something meaningful behind. The research team worked continuously, their excitement growing with each decoded fragment. They discovered references to a cosmic threat, something so profound and terrifying that humanity had chosen to scatter its knowledge across the galaxy rather than confront it directly. More images appeared. Glimpses of human scientists working on impossible projects. Massive underground facilities. Research stations in places that seemed to exist between known dimensional spaces. Each image told a story of preparation, of a species understanding that its own survival might mean preparing the way for others. As the hours passed, the team began to understand the magnitude of their discovery. This was not just an archaeological find. This was a message. A warning. A strategy designed to be discovered 40,000 years after humanity's apparent extinction. June looked at Hannah, and in that moment, they both understood that everything they thought they knew about human history was about to change. The crystal continued to pulse, revealing its secrets slowly, deliberately, a technological time capsule that carried the hopes and fears of a civilization that had chosen to fight even after its own destruction. The research station continued its silent orbit, holding within its walls a discovery that would reshape the understanding of every known civilization in the galaxy. The quantum translation matrix hummed with an unusual intensity, its complex algorithms struggling to decode the ancient message. June watched as lines of encrypted data scrolled across the holographic display, each fragment seeming to resist complete understanding. Hannah leaned closer, her breath creating a small mist on the projection surface. The single word began to take shape, simple yet profound. Run flickered in multiple languages, each translation carrying a different weight of urgency. The research station's chief communications specialist, Daesung Park, worked frantically. His fingers moved across quantum decryption panels, each touch revealing another layer of the mysterious message. Something about the transmission felt different. It wasn't just a warning. It was a carefully constructed survival strategy.
Quantum fragments began to align.
Hidden within the simple word were complex mathematical equations, stellar mapping coordinates, and technological blueprints that seemed to describe defensive mechanisms far beyond current scientific understanding. "This isn't just a message," Daesung muttered.
"This is a complete survival protocol." The station's AI system began cross-referencing the decoded information. Star charts appeared, showing intricate pathways through dangerous cosmic regions. Each pathway seemed mathematically perfect, designed to avoid some unknown but catastrophic threat. Researchers gathered around the display, their excitement growing with each decoded fragment. The message carried multiple layers of meaning. It wasn't just telling civilizations to run. It was providing them with exact instructions on how to survive. Hidden within the quantum encryption were technological blueprints. Designs for energy shields that could protect entire planetary systems. Quantum communication networks that could transmit information faster than light. Defensive systems that could potentially neutralize threats before they could even be fully understood. Hannah noticed something strange. The message seemed to be anticipating responses. Each decoded section contained backup protocols, alternative strategies, and multiple contingency plans. It was as if the human creators had predicted every possible scenario of potential resistance or failure. "They knew," she whispered. "They knew something was coming that was beyond any single civilization's ability to combat." The research team worked through cycles of planetary rotations. Coffee became a constant companion, and exhaustion was pushed aside by the magnitude of their discovery. Each decoded fragment revealed more about humanity's final strategy. Astronomical data suggested the message had been distributed across multiple star systems. Thousands of similar data crystals likely existed, each carrying fragments of this complex survival protocol. It was a distributed network of information, designed to activate when specific quantum signatures were detected. Daesung suddenly froze. A particular mathematical sequence caught his attention. It wasn't just a defensive blueprint. It was a trigger mechanism. Something designed to activate when specific cosmic conditions were met. "This isn't just a message," he said, his voice trembling. "This is a weapon. A preparation. A strategy designed to be implemented 40,000 years after humanity's destruction." The station's AI began running complex simulations. The decoded information suggested a threat so massive that humanity had chosen to scatter its knowledge rather than fight directly. A cosmic entity or event that could potentially consume entire dimensional planes. More details emerged. References to transdimensional threats. Quantum signatures that suggested something beyond current scientific understanding. The message carried a cold, calculated determination. Humanity might be gone, but its strategy for survival continued. As the final layers of encryption fell away, the research team realized they were looking at more than just a historical artifact. This was a legacy. A final gift from a civilization that had seen its own end coming and had prepared a solution that would span millennia. The word "run" continued to pulse on the display, its simple message now carrying the weight of an entire species' final, desperate hope for survival. The first signs appeared quietly, almost imperceptibly. Astronomical observatories across multiple star systems detected unusual quantum fluctuations at the galaxy's distant edges. Most scientists initially dismissed these readings as equipment malfunction or cosmic background noise. June Park noticed something different. The quantum signatures matched fragments hidden in the human archives they had recently decoded. He began comparing data, his hands moving quickly across holographic interfaces. Distant sensors started picking up strange energy patterns. They weren't random. They followed mathematical progressions that seemed artificially constructed, precise, and deliberate. Each fluctuation carried a subtle complexity that suggested an intelligent design. Research stations in different star systems began reporting similar observations. Quantum physicists struggled to explain the phenomenon. The energy signatures didn't match any known cosmic event. They moved with a calculated precision that suggested something was approaching. Hannah Kim assembled a team of top researchers. They worked continuously, mapping the expanding quantum disturbances. Each new data point revealed more complexity. The disturbances weren't random, they were moving with purpose. Star mapping systems showed the quantum waves expanding slowly but steadily.
They seemed to be probing, testing the boundaries of known dimensional spaces. Like something was searching, measuring, preparing.
Communication networks between research stations became increasingly active.
Scientists shared data, compared notes, and tried to understand the growing anomaly.
The human archives provided cryptic hints, references to transdimensional threats that humanity had prepared for. Daesung Park discovered something disturbing. The quantum waves were not just expanding. They were adapting. Each time scientific instruments tried to analyze them, the waves would subtly shift, changing their mathematical signatures.
Deep space monitoring stations reported strange gravitational anomalies.
Entire star systems showed minute but measurable shifts in their orbital patterns.
Something was exerting a massive gravitational influence from beyond known space.
Military research divisions became interested. These weren't natural cosmic phenomena.
The precision suggested an intelligence behind the disturbances.
But what kind of intelligence could manipulate quantum spaces across such vast distances? The human archives provided minimal context. Fragmented references to a dimensional consuming entity appeared in encrypted messages. But the details remained frustratingly incomplete. Just enough information to suggest something terrifying was approaching. Astronomical sensors detected the first direct manifestation.
A massive energy signature emerged at the galaxy's outer rim.
It didn't behave like a traditional cosmic event.
Instead, it seemed to fold and unfold, existing simultaneously in multiple dimensional states.